Goes Prime back here. It's been a little while. I just had the birth of my daughter about 3 weeks ago, a little over 3 weeks ago. She's wonderful. So I'm not getting a lot of sleep and haven't had a lot of time to do videos. So I'm back now with a new video. Today I'll be discussing Generation 1 Megatron. This is the original 1984 version. The box on mine's a little beat up. One thing about Megatron in general is he's always been one of my favorites. So back in 1984, I remember at Toys R Us. I was at Toys R Us with my grandmother, and I was looking for Transformers, Optimus Prime to be specific, and we came across Megatron. I didn't have Megatron or any Transformers at the time, and I saw this giant box, and I was like, "This is awesome, Megatron." My grandma was like, "Why would you want a gun?" And I'm like, "But it's a robot," and thus she bought it for me and started my obsession with Transformers. That was, not sure what month, but that was way back in 1984. I remember specifically it was the 1984 version without the rub sign. This version is also the 1984 version without the rub sign. One thing about the American release of Megatron that differs greatly from the Japanese release is this one is the microchange Man from U.N.C.L.E. Before Transformers, Takara had all these different lines of robots where eventually Hasbro bought the rights to them. That's a whole other video though. Megatron came in by microchange line, and there was a couple different versions. One version was the MC-13, which was the Man from U.N.C.L.E. version, which was a popular 1960s television show. They just had a movie about it a few years ago, too. I haven't seen the movie. But that came with a stock, a silencer, and a scope. The Japanese version did not have chrome. It was had blue inner legs. Did not come with a scope, the silencer, or the stock. Came with a sword, and it came with little bullets that it could actually fire. The firing mechanism on the American version was removed, probably due to choking hazards. What we got in America was the full package. So if you can see this here, the stickers have faded, which is very common with a lot of Megatrons. If you happen to find one with really nice stickers that are original stickers, it's generally going to be very expensive. This particular one is in very good condition otherwise. Even disregard the box and the flap crease. On the back is the Generation 1 battle scene, which is amazingly rendered here. Very large. As I stated in my previous video with Optimus Prime, I love this. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. And here he is in his box. Now, one of the things that I mentioned previously in my intro was when I was a kid, this was huge. Of course, I was actually really little. When I saw this box again for the first time as an adult, I was astounded by how small it was. It's a pretty big box, but I was astounded how small it was. To me, this was massive. This was like the largest thing I've ever seen. The box was huge. It's a lot smaller than I originally remember. It is pretty big for a Transformer box. He comes packaged in styrofoam. The later reissues come in the clear plastic sort of normal thing you see for most of the newer toys these days. This particular figure, as I stated before, is the American version, and the American version came with all these accessories. The Japanese version did not. Not until the 16 special release, which I believe was 2001. So you see the box from the front there. You see some of his different modes that he has for his accessories. There, and of course the iconic Man from U.N.C.L.E. with the stock scope and silencer. And here you got Megatron himself with his two little fingers, like his hand just isn't out all the way. I'm not sure what that's all about. You got the, of course, the trigger crotch and his his legs there. I oddly like this picture of depiction of Megatron there. I think it's very cool. On the side, you have a picture of Megatron. Some old tape there has lost its adhesive, and the gun mode and a couple of the accessories. On the back, the aforementioned battle scene, and his tech specs. You could pause that there if you'd like. Still wonderful to have them on the box, even with my box being a little beat up like this. So just to touch back on the accessories real quick. So the Japanese version didn't come with any of the stock, the scope, or the silencer piece, which is kind of weird. It was a gray plastic. It had blue inner legs. It did come with this gun, and it came with a sword and bullets, which could actually fire. It wasn't until, like I said, the 16 special version, which is this version right here, where it actually had the silencer, the scope, and the stock pieces with it in Japan. This version did keep the mechanism where it will actually fire. Now, I didn't take off any of the bullets off the sprues, so you'll have to take my word for it that it does fire. Really, if you could see, let me get down, see if we could get some light in there. Maybe get some. You can kind of see the mechanism. This is where you put the bullet in. This little hole is still present on the American version, although it does not have this little piece. See if you can see it. That goes back and forth, like I see. That shoots the bullet out. Now, going from gun to robot is fairly easy. The first thing you'll have to do is take off the stock piece, or take off the silencer piece. The scope you don't necessarily have to take off, but it does make it easier. And the stock. This is the stock. What you have is the gun. This is a very good likeness of a Walther P38. You will not see these again as a toy in America because of gun laws. It is very, very, very realistic looking. You could probably do some really bad things with this gun, which, you know, makes sense. I guess he's Megatron. He'll be doing bad things. On the original version of the 1985 with the rub sign actually came here, where you would place these stickers here. That's something that I'm glad they moved on the 16 special, because it would interfere with the sticker here. Even though the toy actually still came with these stickers, you either have to put it over or take this off and put it on, or just not even put it on altogether. So since these are exactly the same, besides a few minor differences that don't affect transformation or the look of the toy, I will be using this mostly for the review. Just because it's out of the package, I don't have to take something out of the package, even though this package is open. Okay, so once you have them in this mode, you could either use them like this, with the scope on, or transform him into robot mode. Take his feet out, pull his legs out, separate his legs. Then what you want to do is take his head, pull it down, his arms, go up, turn around, split the arms. Move these a little more forward here. Split the arms, and you get this nice T formation here, which is the spine, which is very, very ingenious. Turn the barrel. Actually, hang on. Lift this up, and then turn the barrel. And move the legs a little more forward just to get this out of the way. Barrel goes down. This comes up and snaps into place. Snaps. What you want to do is you want to get this lined up with this here piece. Come in. This comes in. Barrel's back. This comes in like so. It snaps into place. Barrel comes around into the front. Arms extend. Fists have a little tab here and extend. Same with the left arm. And also the legs have a little piece right here. That's mainly for to stand them upright in robot mode. So there he is, robot mode. Now, one thing you'll notice is that while he does look an awful lot like the box art, he looks almost nothing like the cartoon. I'll show you the cartoon through Masterpiece Megatron right there. Now you see the Masterpiece Megatron looks like the cartoon. This does not. One interesting thing to note about this one is this was not like the prototype for the original Megatron that was used in the cartoon. The original Megatron used in the cartoon was based off a prototype for the microchange line, where this piece right here of the trigger folded up. He had much thicker legs. He had a different head. The head was black. If you look at the early artwork in the Marvel Comics and the first commercials for Megatron, he had a much more slender, longer scope and a black head. And that was because it was based off of this design. And if you'll notice, that design is much more like what we got to see in the cartoon. That is the reason. For some reason, they decided to change that and go with this design after the fact. He's a very cool figure. A little bit speaking through nostalgia eyes. If I were to get this, let's say if I was a 7-year-old kid right now, I think it'd be cool. That'd be a gun figure, but he doesn't have much articulation. His arms basically do that, and that's about all. But for the time, he was really cool. He's very chrome, all the shininess of him. He's just a beautiful figure. It's one of the hallmarks, I would say, of the G1 line is the early G1 line is lots of chrome, metal pieces. These pieces here are metal. This is metal. This piece right here, and the arms are metal. One thing on the original Megatron, which I still have my original Megatron toy, is Sans arms. These tended to break right here really easily back on the original toy. Now, for his accessories. So he comes with these pieces. You got the stock piece, the scope piece, the silencer piece, and another little piece that goes on the end of the silencer there, like this. So what you want to do with these to make what we're going to make right here, seeing in this picture, is he has this giant cannon mode that he could use. Which is really cool that he could do that. It kind of gives him an extra weapon. Let's separate the top of this piece. On the bottom, these two pieces of the stock come out, there we go, and open up. This one's a little tight. That stands up like so. This piece comes down like this. Goes in that little hole on top of there. The scope slides on the top there. This piece and this piece connects down here. This has handles that open. One thing on my 16 special version is that I can't get both of these arms all the way out. So you see they come all that way. This one just won't. And I don't want to force it too much because I don't want to break it. Anyway, this piece goes on this little slot right here. Goes right into it like that. And there you have his cannon. So Megatron can hold it like that and fire a giant cannon. Let's move the camera to get this whole thing in. Move the whole thing in there. So he just has this giant cannon, which is awesome.
because it makes him look very menacing. This is something that makes this figure just look really cool. Like he's going to blast you to oblivion. So one thing I liked about Megatron, one of the few things, is that he is fairly evil compared to other villains of the time that keep on getting beaten. Megatron, spoiler alert, actually ends up beating Optimus Prime and doesn't die. Almost, but not quite. So one of the things also that was different, just to go back on something a little bit here, is this here. This here is going in the front. On the original microchange prototype, they didn't have the barrel going forward. The barrel was actually going up in the back, like the original cartoon figure or cartoon character model. This toy could be sort of forced up to go put up in the back. I don't want to do it. I don't want to break this. It's much harder to do on the reissue than it is to do on the original, but again, it does stress the toy out, so I don't recommend doing it if you have an original. So these pieces do fit together, which I believe ends up looking something like this. That I'll have to look up. Give me just a second. Okay, and it looks like I got it. I had to look this one up. Like I said, it's not the instructions. So he has this kind of face cannon mode, which the Masterpiece also has. It's kind of an interesting sort of thing to do. It was also, I believe, mimicked in the, was it Dark of the Moon with, what's his name? Have his face transformed into the cannon. Anyway, we're talking about G1 here. Whoa, let's just drop that. Of course, we could put his trademark fusion cannon on, and you have a very, very nice G1 toy. This thing was a wonder to me when I was a kid. I couldn't transform it at first. It took me so long that I vowed to figure out every transformer without looking at the instructions after. All of which I accomplished, with the exception of the 2007 movie Prime. I actually had to look at the instructions for that for his chest pieces. I didn't want to break it. So thanks for watching my trip down memory lane with Generation 1 Megatron. If you don't have Generation 1 Megatron, it's a really cool figure to have in your collection. He has a lot of accessories. He looks very good on yourself. He may not be as neat as a Masterpiece Megatron or say, any one of the other Megatrons, really. He doesn't have a lot of play value, but if you don't have him in your collection, if you collect G1, I highly recommend him. You have to have at least Megatron and Optimus Prime in your G1 collection. Just my opinion. Wonderful figure. Definitely one to have. I will be doing some more videos on some of the newer stuff. I do finally have a couple of the Dinobots from the Power of the Primes coming in soon. I believe it's Slag and Snarl. And then I'll have all of them, and I'll be doing a review of Volcanicus and a compare with the Dinobots and the G1s. I'm not sure when I'll be able to get to that, but I should get those in next week, and I will be making a video shortly after. I, again, apologize for the length of time it's been between these videos. I plan to keep a regular cadence going forward. I do go back to work soon, so my life's just in flux right now. But thank you for sticking with me. I will have some new reviews coming up, and hopefully I'll be filming some interviews or just talks with some other people, some of my friends that are coming around. Cannon Spike, I'm looking at you, bud. So yeah, please like, subscribe. I started a Facebook channel. Right now there's pretty much nothing on it besides my reviews, but it's Ghost Prime Reviews on Facebook. So please check that out, and I'll be having more content. Also, please feel free to request content. I have a lot of figures. I have some older ones, some newer ones. Is all you want to see some new ones? Or should I go over some G1s? Whatever you'd like. Please let me know. I would
be more than happy to take suggestions. So until then, I'll see you guys later.